Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I'll be walking you through how to query a document in MongoDB. So open up two instances of your command prompt or your terminal. In the first instance, just start the MongoDB server by typing in MongoD and enter, and that will start the server. In the second command prompt, which is also the shell, we're going to start the shell or the client. All you need to do is type in Mongo, enter, and that will start the shell or the client. It tells you one connection now open. Normally the default for MongoDB is on port 27017. So we've got the cursor waiting for instructions. First thing I like to do is to see a list of our database. So I do show space DBS to list the databases. It tells me I've got three there. I've got one called assets, local, and test. Test is the default database. So I want to issue my commands against the assets database. So I do use assets, and that it tells me I'm switched to database assets. If I want to be sure I'm in the right database, I just type in DB, enter. It tells me I am in the assets database. So the command, if I want to see all the records in the collection for this database, the command I need to type is db dot followed by the name of the collection. The collection is cars dot find, and inside the, and if your parentheses is empty, just like that, it will return all the details from that collection. So I press enter. It says returned all the values from the collection called cars. So you can see there that I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 records in there. We've got a Range Rover, Ford, Toyota, Bugatti, and a Porsche. So that's a quick way of seeing what you've got in your collection. What if I just want one record inside the collection? If I want to view the first record, usually the records are if I issue a command to display the first record, it will give me a value of a record in the order they were added on. For example, this was how I inserted the records into the documents. So if I am querying for a single value or field, it will return this. I expect it to return Range Rover first because that was what I added first in that order. So let's give that a go. The way to do that, there is a command. So we type in db dot the name of the collection, which is cars dot find uppercase O1 and then in parentheses. So this method or this command will return the first record that was added. So I expect it to return a value for Range Rover. So if I press enter here, you see it tells me here, gives me the ID, the object ID, and the value is the key, and tells me the make, and then Range Rover. Alright, so that's how I expected the result. So whereby you use this command db.findOne, that command basically will return one document that satisfies the specified query criteria on the collection or the view. However, if multiple documents meets that requirement or satisfies that query, this method will return the first document according to the natural order, which reflects the order in which the documents were added to the MongoDB. So that is it for this basic lecture on how to query a document in MongoDB. Many thanks for watching, and bye for now. Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I will be showing you how to update a document in MongoDB. Please open up two instances of your command prompt or your terminal. In the first instance, we're going to start the MongoDB server by typing in MongoD and then enter. Always uses port 27017 by default. Now let's start the Mongo client or the Mongo shell by typing in Mongo and then enter. So it tells you here one connection are open, and here it's waiting for a command because it's got the flashing cursor. So we need to tell it what we want. MongoDB has an update method that you can use to update documents. First thing I want to do, I want to go into the right database. So if you want to check the current database you're on, just type in DB, enter, and it will tell you, it's telling me I'm on the test database. That's my active database. The test database is the default database, so I don't want that. So let me do a list of all my databases by typing show space DBS. It tells me I've got other databases, so I want to use the assets database. So to use my assets database, I will just need to type in the command use space assets ATS and press enter. It tells me now I'm now switched to database asset. If I want to be sure, I just type in the command DB. It tells me my current database is asset. So I want to see all the collections I have in this database. So I'll type in show collections and press enter. I've got two, one called cars, one called system.indexes. The system.indexes is automatically added. So I want to update data from my cars collection. First thing I want to do is see all the data in that collection. So to do that, I do db dot the name of the collection, which is cars, dot find one, no, just dot find, and then in parentheses press enter. Gives me a list of all the data. So this is all the data inside the collection called cars. All right, say I want to change, I want to update some records. Let's assume I now have a Maserati and I want to give the Ford away. So I want to update the make from Ford to Maserati. So to update the record, you do db dot the name of the collection, which is cars, dot update, and then you do an opening parentheses and then opening curly braces, and we start with the first quotes, double quotes. So we'll start with what we have at the moment. So the make, start with the make, which is the key, and then we specify the value. In this case it is forward, and then we close the curly braces. We do a comma and we open another curly brace. Inside that curly brace, a $sign. After the $sign, we type in the word set. Set is what we're going to use to change it, and then colon, curly braces again. Then we start with a make, and then colon. This is where we now specify the new value. So the new value is Maserati. So I then do closing curly braces, another curly braces to match the other one, and then a closing parenthesis. I'll press enter. So it tells me here, right result matched, update. So we'll do a find again to see if that worked. We do db dot cars dot find. Let's see if that update worked. If you take a close look at the query here, the update failed because the values did not match. Don't forget, with JSON, the value of the key has to have a value. So if they don't match, it will not do nothing. That's why my update failed. So let me tell you what went wrong here. So in case you make the same mistake, here I'm updating the value here, db.cars.update. The make is forward. Notice I've got the F in lowercase, and here it's telling me the F is in uppercase, so they don't match. That's why the update failed. It's telling me here now, right result and match 0. It didn't match, hence nothing was updated. So when I ran the db.cars.find, it gave me exactly what I had before. Here I've now fixed it. db.cars.update make is forward, the capital F matches the capital F, and this is what I'm setting it to. So now if I do db.cars.find, I expect the update to have taken place. So let's check that out. db.cars.find, and then I press enter. You can see the value has changed. It's now showing as Maserati. So if the values don't match, just like the combination to a lock or a safe, if you don't have the right combination, the safe will not open. So here I've now got the right combination. It has updated the data. So that's how you update documents in MongoDB. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I will show you how to delete a document from a MongoDB collection. A document can also be an equivalent of a row in a traditional database table. So to begin, let's start up our server. I've got 2 instances of the command prompt. So if you could open 2 instances or 2 instances of your terminal. The first instance, I'm going to start the MongoDB server by typing in MongoD and press enter. It tells you it's started. You can see the default port is 27017. So now let's start up the shell. To start up the shell, you just type in Mongo that'll take you into the shell. So let's see what database we are currently on by typing in DB. It says I'm in the test database, which is a default database. I want to see a list of the database, so I type in show DBS. Okay, I want to use the assets database, so I'll type in use assets. So what I want to do first, I want to quickly create a document. I want to insert a document into the collection for this database. So if I type in show collections, it will tell me how many collections I have. Collections are like tables, so I've got two. One is a system and the other one is cars. I want to insert a document inside the cars collection, so I'm going to do db.cars. Before I do that, let me see I want to view everything inside the cars collection. So I do db.cars.find. Because this is a method, we need to enclose in parentheses. Okay, so these are the records. I've got 5 records or documents inside the cars collection. I want to insert another, so I'll do db.cars.insert, and in opening parentheses and then opening curly braces, I type in the make colon, and then in opening brackets, opening quotes, let's make it a Nissan. I'll close the curly braces and close in parentheses. Press enter. It tells me I've inserted one record. So if I do db.cars.find and press enter, see I've got an extra record now called Nissan. So I want to remove or delete this document here. So to delete a document in MongoDB, you first of all start with db dot followed by the name of the collection, which is cars dot remove. So we're going to remove a document where the make matches Nissan. So inside that, you start with the opening parentheses, opening curly braces, quotes, you type in make, and then a colon. After the colon, you type in the name. Don't forget the value has to match exactly. And you can use single quotes or double quotes, but you can't mix them. You can't start with a single and end with a double. They must match. So once you've done that, close the curly braces and then close the parentheses. So what they're saying, we're going to remove a document that matches the value of Nissan from this collection. So I press enter. It tells me here there's a right result, means I've removed one document. So to check, we do db.cars.find, which will display all the documents from that collection. You can see Nissan is no longer there. So that's how you remove a single document. If you want to remove all the documents from a collection, it's the same thing as truncating a table. When you truncate a table, that means you strip the table of all its data. So the same thing applies to a collection. You can strip the collection of all its data. So if you want to do that, the command you need to type is db dot followed by the name of the collections dot followed by the word remove. And then because it's a method, you need to put the parentheses. If you execute this command, it will get rid of all the data, all the documents from this collection. I don't want to do that. I just wanted to show you how you do that if you intend to flush out all the documents in a collection. That's how you would go about doing that. So that's it for this lecture on deleting a document. Many thanks for watching. Bye for now.